Why can't I think as clearly as I used to? You walk into a room and forget why. A familiar word vanishes mid-sentence. You reread a paragraph and absorb nothing. You were sharper once, you know that much. What most people overlook is that one ancient herb, steeped as tea for just 7 days, has been tied to memory for over 2,000 years. The real question is whether something this ordinary could actually help. Occasional forgetfulness is a common part of growing older, and it can stem from several everyday factors. Busy schedules, poor sleep, fluctuating moods, or even the side effects of routine medications can all cloud your thinking. It is easy to worry that these lapses signal something serious like dementia or severe cognitive decline, but most of the time they are simply signs of an overloaded brain. That is why a 7-day experiment with a single daily cup of rosemary tea is a practical way to explore your options. This ritual is not a cure for brain fog, nor does it replace medical care. It will not bring back a younger brain or instantly restore lost memories. Instead, it invites an open question. Could a simple, mindful routine help you feel a bit more alert and mentally present during your day? There are no guarantees of a sudden transformation, but observing how you feel over 1 week might offer a gentle, accessible way to support your daily cognitive well-being. People connected rosemary with remembrance long before scientists began studying it. Was that connection purely symbolic, or is the herb actually scientifically interesting? During Roman times, mourners placed evergreen rosemary sprigs in the hands of the deceased as a symbol of eternal memory. By 1597, English herbalist John Gerard wrote in his famous Herbal that rosemary could dry the brain and comfort the memory. This cultural association was so widespread that Shakespeare immortalized it in Hamlet. When a grieving Ophelia says, "There's rosemary, that's for remembrance, pray you love, remember." Some popular accounts claim ancient Greek students wore rosemary wreaths to boost their minds during exams, though surviving classical records do not establish this as fact. These early modern herbals, plays, and customs show us what people widely believed for generations. But folklore is not the same as clinical proof. To find out if there is physical truth behind the poetry, we have to look at modern evidence. To make sense of the modern science, we have to look closely at the specific forms of rosemary used in laboratory trials. Researchers study the plant in 5 distinct ways: inhaled aroma, concentrated essential oil, specialized extracts, isolated chemical compounds, and whole leaves consumed as food or tea. Mixing these forms up leads to confusion, because a result found in one method does not automatically apply to the others. The modern scientific story began in the early 2000s with studies on human exposure to the herb's scent. Psychologist Mark Moss and his colleagues began testing how people performed on memory and attention tasks while working in rooms filled with diffused rosemary aroma. Participants in these small, short-term trials showed modest improvements in alertness and memory accuracy. While these aroma findings are interesting, they only provide indirect clues when it comes to drinking a warm cup of tea. Later research sought to explain this connection by analyzing blood samples. Scientists discovered that inhaling the scent led to detectable levels of a compound called 1,8-cineole, or eucalyptol, in the participants' bloodstream. Higher blood levels of this compound matched better scores on cognitive tests. But this association does not prove that eucalyptol alone caused the mental boost. It simply shows a biological link. When we look at swallowing the herb rather than smelling it, the data changes. In a small study of older adults, researchers tested different amounts of dried rosemary leaf powder mixed into a drink. The results revealed a surprising pattern. A low culinary-sized dose of 750 milligrams improved memory speed, but the highest dose of 6 grams actually made performance worse. This shows that more rosemary is not always better, and the actual dose changes the outcome. Currently, no large-scale clinical trials have tested whether drinking a standard cup of rosemary tea for 7 days reliably sharpens the minds of adults between 45 and 70. The existing science is promising, but still indirect. This leaves an open invitation. When the formal data remains incomplete, what might a careful personal observation reveal about your own daily focus? Starting this 7-day experiment is less about chasing an instant boost and more about establishing a quiet daily habit. During the first 2 days, simply focus on the sensory experience. Notice the rich, pine-like aroma as the steam rises, the warm flavor, and whether this ritual feels comfortable and easy to repeat. Do not expect an immediate shift in memory or attention. These initial days are just about settling into the routine. By the third and fourth days, you can begin keeping a light, informal log. Pay attention to your focus during your usual peak hours and the notorious afternoon slump. Is it slightly easier to follow a book without losing your place? Does your mind stay anchored to a single task a bit longer? Or does the typical midday fog feel just as heavy? Observing these shifts connects your personal experience to what researchers study, without treating one good afternoon as definitive proof. On days 5 and 6, watch how you navigate everyday tasks. Note whether you still walk into a room and blank on why you are there, or if you find yourself following conversations with fewer moments of drifting. See if you can recall small details without checking your notepad or if words come a bit more fluidly. As you observe this, remember that mental sharpness is heavily shaped by other factors: your sleep, hydration, stress, and caffeine intake. On day 7, make an honest comparison. Ask yourself if concentration felt a little more accessible this week, if the ritual provided a helpful daily pause, or if absolutely nothing changed. Experiencing no difference at all is a perfectly valid result. The goal is simply to observe your own mind and see if this simple daily cup offers a practical way to support your cognitive well-being. To begin this ritual, skip the supplements and head to the kitchen. Use basic dried culinary rosemary leaves, which provide a reliable household measure, though a fresh sprig works too. Measure 1 teaspoon or about 2 grams of the dried leaves into a mug. Pour in 250 milliliters of hot water heated to just below boiling and let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes before straining. You can add a squeeze of lemon or a drop of honey to soften the pine-like taste, though these are strictly for flavor and do not add cognitive benefits. Drink this single cup once a day, preferably in the morning or early afternoon, as the refreshing taste can feel quite stimulating. This simple recipe relies on the culinary leaf itself rather than rosemary essential oil. Keep this daily amount exactly the same because consistency matters far more than making a stronger brew. While culinary rosemary is safe in normal food amounts, concentrated herbal preparations require caution. If you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or managing a medical condition, consult a qualified health professional before regular use. This is especially important for those taking blood thinners or blood pressure medications. Always ask a clinician or pharmacist before beginning. Watch for mild allergic or gastrointestinal reactions and stop drinking the tea if any new symptoms appear. Never swallow rosemary essential oil. It is highly concentrated, unsafe to ingest, and entirely different from leaf tea. Lastly, a daily cup of tea must not delay professional care if you experience significant cognitive changes. Sudden, progressive, or functionally disruptive issues, such as disorientation in familiar places, repeatedly forgetting recent events, or struggling with routine tasks, require a prompt medical evaluation. True mental support often lies not in complex treatments, but in simple daily rituals. A mindful cup of rosemary tea brings ancient wisdom right to your kitchen counter, offering a gentle space for clarity to return. Subscribe to God's Natural Pharmacy for more thoughtful paths to daily well-being.